We are now officially coming to you live from 3 different time zones.
Ooh,
We
is this?
are. Whoa.
That's the first time, isn't it?
No, I think we recorded when I was in Seattle or San Francisco.
We did. You think it was Seattle? It was in that really cool apartment, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was in the dingy hotel.
Oh, that's right.
So we're not in a dingy hotel this time. We're in Cigar Lounge circa 1930 hotel.
Very cool. Much better.
Very New York vibe for a very downtown LA hotel. That's how I would describe it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we needed to press record because we started chatting and I was like, oh shit, this needs to be on the podcast as per usual. So I think from now on, I'm just going to hit record as soon as we come into the room.
I know, we already missed so many great things. And that happens because we haven't been able to connect for a while because we've all been busy and sick and
places
energetically connected.
And dying.
Correct. Yeah.
So
where do we want to even begin?
Where do we start?
Exactly.
I think you need to start, Cass. You said you have things on your mind. So just start talking.
I have a lot of things. I don't think this is going to necessarily be just me. I think you guys will pipe in. And we'll kind of do a bulk personal life update for all of us collectively today.
There you go.
Sounds fun.
So if you have an ear infection, say I.
I don't know if it's an ear infection, but my ear hasn't hurt like this since I was a little kid. So I don't know what else to say.
I have no sound. I can't hear anything out of my right ear. Kaylin, you're right. And then Jade, you're left. So I said this to Tom. I was like, hey, we all have like this ear thing going on. He's like, oh, that's weird. I was like, you don't think it's a coincidence? You don't think there's anything going on other than like, we just, across the United States have a collective ear infection?
Correct. We haven't literally seen each other or touched each other. Well, Cassie and I've touched each other recently, but not Jade. It's been a minute.
Have we touched each other recently?
We hugged.
I thought you were going to go someplace else, but
I could go someplace else. I didn't.
No.
Refer to title of podcast.
This title of podcast?
Yeah, Girlfriends Without Benefits.
Oh, the name of the podcast. I was like, the title of the podcast is I Touch Myself? Okay. It might be a title. It's a working title for the rest of the episode.
Oh no.
Back up. We're already going downhill.
Right. We all have a collective ear infection, which is weird.
It is weird. Mine started Thursday of last week. And then it's kind of migrated throughout my face and down my neck and then back and settled into my ear. So I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Because you're clearly cleaning something out and clearly purging something out at another round of sinus infection. So that was fun. But now my sinus infection has only moved to my right side. So it's nice and puffy and super sexy.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. And Kaylin started weeks ago.
Yeah, you started weeks ago.
Yeah. When I saw you actually, Cass, right after that was when
when you touched each other.
Damn it.
Jade, stop giving Tom ammo for telling him that it's all related.
But seriously though, that's when it all kind of began for me, was after that trip. And then it's kind of been, as the listeners know, like a never ending thing. Yeah. And I still don't because I'm on all of this allergy medicine that I have to stay on, because when I don't take it, I start having responses in my body, like welts and itchy hands. And my skin gets all sensitive and poofy.
Yeah. Have you noticed any side effects, like continued, like worsening side effects from having to take the medicine, or how is that?
I only notice side effects when I don't take it.
Okay.
What antibiotic are you on? Because now I'm on an antibiotic, because you were on one for the ear.
I was on penicillin or amoxicillin. And it was after I took my final dose of that then the next day was when I started having the allergic response. So I haven't been on anything like that since then.
So they wanted to give me amoxicillin for the sinus infection and the ear infection, but I'm allergic to penicillin. So they put me on doxycycline.
Oh yeah,
which is
Mhm.
like a non-amoxicillin version of penicillin. So
sure.
there's just a lot of weird synergies, if you will.
Yeah.
If you will, indeed.
So
And we will. Speaking of that, there's been like tooth pain
Mhm.
or localized pain near teeth.
Yes.
yeah, I feel like every time I get a sinus infection, it feels like my teeth are just pressurized. And I've gone to the dentist a number of times and they're like, it's just your sinuses, relax. So I have that on my right side, kind of like up towards the jaw, wisdom tooth area. Um,
And that's right side. And so for me, it's also right ear that's sore. And then yesterday morning, I didn't take 3 of my allergy medicines. And by the evening, I had like welts going inside my mouth. What it feels like is like a pain in where my wisdom tooth was. But if you look in my mouth, it looks like nothing. It's a little bit swollen over there, but that's just because of the welt. But like yeah, nothing.
Yeah. And I have a dentist appointment and I'm glad because I'm convinced that it is my tooth, but I have no idea if it's related to my tooth but the pain is like, I usually have a lot of right side neck pain, but I've got a lot of pain on my left side and my shoulder, my neck, like it's just really messed up. So I think we should back up and like kind of explain why we think or why we know and how we know that we're having all of these connections and what's going on.
so
How do you know? Sorry.
we knew we were going to get into a song relatively quickly. No, so I think from what I see, and I messaged you guys about this the other day, I said, Kaylin and I need to stop doing something because we're in the masculine and we need to just focus on being in the relax, receive. And Jade, you need to start doing something.
Mhm.
Now, that's just being mapped by metaphysical anatomy. That's not like anything crazy of just to like where our pain is and how it's on one side for Kaylin and I, on another side for you.
Mhm.
Kennedy's like, can I get an amen? But so I'd like before every up level, if you will, I just looked out and by the way, there's a fucking giant 88 on the building outside my window.
Of course.
So I'm like, I'll take a picture. That might be in the show notes. Because I wasn't originally sitting in this spot in the hotel when we started to first record. I was over there and I was like, oh, of course I needed to like look out the window and see a massive 88.
While we're recording.
I
Yes.
digress. What the fuck was I saying?
You're talking about metaphysical
Up leveling and up
up leveling and how it's mapped to us needing to sit more in the feminine and Jade needing to sit more in her masculine.
So an up level is never beautiful, hyperbolic, parallel growth as much as we like to see it. It tends to be this spiral of like digging through old layers of shit. Okay, new layer of advancement, old layer of shit, new layer of advancement. And I feel like for me, that's always through the physical body. You guys can attest to this. And then in the 80 plus episodes of the podcast, you guys can probably also understand where we go with this. But every time that something happens that's bigger, we're basically taking our capacity and expanding it out and having to sit in the funk to make sure that like what we're doing, like, is it really worth it? Is it really like, is it really, are we really deserving of it? Like, are we really ready to receive it? And like, that's the level that we're out. And this time, like, it's funny because I feel like when it started, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I would mainly get the stuff and you guys wouldn't feel it. And then like there would be a little bit here and a little bit there that you would start to feel. And now it's like, all three of us, we're here, we've arrived.
Before you even say anything. Yeah.
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 That's fun.
Yeah. It's very interesting how it has become more physical. Cause I think before, like Jade and I each had ways that we would experience things, and it wouldn't necessarily be in our physical body, but it would be in the areas that we most experience change and things in our lives, or the areas that make us pay attention in our lives. So obviously for me, that's home. And for Jade, that was her lovely childhood wound. And so it was like in those areas, we were being forced to pay attention and forced to like listen. And now it's just completely physical.
Yeah.
So thank you both
That's a
for
good
giving
thing. It's a good thing because it means that we're in our bodies.
Mhm,
So ultimately it's a good thing.
for sure.
Speaking of in our bodies, let me tell you about my morning.
Yeah, please.
Please.
So I'm staying at the Los Angeles Athletic Club. It is a 1920s-esque building. Like you can see the room, like very dark, wood paneled, libraries galore, like absolutely stunning. They spend exactly no money on their showers in the room. If I took a picture of the shower, you'd be like, you're staying there. But then they have a beautiful Olympic-sized pool and the best weight room I've ever seen, and indoor tracks, and just they clearly spend their money on the athletic side, not the hotel side. So I was like, okay, cool, staying here one night.
They have showers in the like athletic area.
Oh, the showers in the athletic area are like quartz, floor to ceiling. Like,
Oh, I go over there and shower. Screw this.
I'm going to after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sauna, a dry,
Oh, hell yeah.
steam room, whirlpool tub, like lavender fresh fucking towels to put over your face, a meditation room, a heated sheet area, like, and then you look into like this tub and you're like, wait, this is the shower in the room? Like, this does not add up. So anyway, I get here yesterday and they hand me a list of like classes and stuff. And like, if I was not feeling the way that I have been for the past week, I would have absolutely took the barbell class this morning because that is my jam.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? There's no way I can lift anything heavy. Even when I'm like ducking down to like get my suitcase, my ear has just
Not good on the sinuses. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to skip the barbell class and I'm going to do this thing called stretch. I'm like, that sounds good. I flew. I probably have some things I can move out. So I get up there. I did not set my alarm last night, and my alarm definitely rang this morning before the class. I was like, huh, that's interesting. I was like, okay, so one way or another, I was essentially going to this class. I was already up, but I get to this class and the woman's late. And I was like, okay, like kind of sitting here. I was like, do I leave? Like, she's 10 minutes late. And I'm like, maybe the class isn't happening. She comes in and she immediately she's a Russian woman, older, probably like, oh God, I am bad with age. She's older. If I say an age range and then she listens to the podcast, I don't want to offend. So, but she looks fucking like a body of a 20-year-old and an older woman. Like,
Mhm.
chef's kiss spectacular, like body goals all day long. And she comes in and she's like, okay, we're going to stretch today. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she's doing all of these things and all of this movement. And she immediately reminds me of like a Russian ballet teacher. And like also the Russian side of me is like super at home and
Mhm.
like super here to be like, so she's like, moving, and she comes around and she's like, can I assist? And she's like really stretching you. And I'm like, I didn't know my arm went that far. Like, she's definitely now after seeing her Instagram, I knew there was energy moving, but like she's fucking woo as fuck too. She's posting about like eclipses and energies and chakras. And I'm like, okay, like she knows.
She knows.
She knows.
Yeah.
So in middle of the class, as she's doing this, she's also hysterical and like making jokes of like, move your pelvis like you've had sex, like unlock the hips, like just like, so all of us are like laughing and like borderline tears from stretching.
Uh-huh.
And also like just in a great space. So middle of class, that little voice inside the head goes, get her information and like see if she can do some recordings for you. Cause like I felt like there was shit in my body that like was popping that I didn't even know existed. So, and like I could just like literally feel like energetic and like physical releases from this class. So we exchange information or whatever after. And I was like, okay, that was really good. Like, go sit in the sauna. And in the middle of the sauna, I'm there for, I don't know, 5 minutes out of my 25-minute sauna session. Spiritual team's like, okay, time to chat. I was like, oh, great. What are we doing? So I basically get this download that one of the things that I walk 70% of my clients through, which is Aqua Cord Connection and Ho'oponopono, it's time to do for my mom. And I'm like, cool, middle of the sauna. Like, let's great. So I try to tap in there and like go in, and immediately I was sitting in the sauna alone. No one's there. And immediately 4 people walk in. I was like, okay, well, guess it's not now. So I'm just like, okay, I'll get super grounded here. Just kind of really come back fully present into body after stretching, after doing all the things. And I was like, okay, time to leave and walk out of the sauna. And there's literally, it's like mindful meditation room. Like in the
Mhm.
LA Athletic Club, mind you, I just told you that my shower looks like it came from the 1930s. And I'm like, huh, what's in there? So I go in, like kind of tap in. There's no one in there. It's dead silent. There's a sheet warmer. So you can take a nice toasty sheet and wrap it around you in cold lavender towels. I'm like, okay. So I go and sit down, and mind you, I've been working out. I got up there, let's see, I got there at 6 o'clock, worked out for an hour, took the stretch class for another hour to 7. So this is around like, and then sat in the sauna. So this is like 8:30 after like 2.5 hours of stuff. So I sit down there, cover myself in my little toasty sheet, lavender eye mask, go ahead and do an Aka disconnection, and like just tears and soft and cool and super fucking sexy. No one
That
left.
is sexy. It's very
No,
sexy.
no one walked in. Finished my kind of meditation and kind of sat there and like really felt grounded, felt some popping in the back of my neck and in my ear. But I was like, how come I've never done that as it relates to my mom? I've only done it. I mean, I've done Ho'oponopono thousands of times for my dad at this point. But I was like, how has that not been a thing?
Hmm.
Like, how did I miss? Like, how? I just don't understand. So did that. And then, yeah, that's why I look like this. I was going to take a shower after, but got derailed by the mindfulness meditation room and warm sheets and lavender towels. Cause
You
That
actually
sounds
look
amazing.
You actually look really glowy, and like
You do.
like your eyes are brighter, and you look better than you have in quite some time.
I don't have a lazy eye anymore either.
No.
No, you do. Your skin is super glowy.
So,
Mhm.
well, it does have a layer of sweat on it, and I definitely need to shower, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you put on like lipstick or something?
There's nothing on.
It literally looks like
Yeah.
It's just the V's tint from months ago.
you look
Little
good.
phrase to going to get your lips tattooed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, as you're talking, of course, what comes up for me is your chart. That's all I see. And you talking so much about this whole past physical journey is a constant reminder for you to be in your feminine and not in your masculine. Where's your feminine energy in your chart? Your Cancer rising, that's a mother energy. Where's your childhood wound in Cancer? Mother wound, nesting wound, feminine wound, being vulnerable, that wound. So I think
All the
it's
ones.
obviously all connected.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my derailed morning. On top of that, it was a dream that woke me up that I sent to Kaylin and you. I think I sent it to both of you guys.
Yeah, you
I
did.
also sent it to Katie. I was like, just so you know. And it was good because it was a reminder for something that she was going through yesterday too. That just kind of a cool other way of just like literally like aligned conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So and when I'm like, here's a picture of my journal, and she's like, I'm going through the same thing. Great. Like that's not a normal conversation that people have.
No.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. I mean, you know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And there are some really amazing things coming up for you in the next couple days.
I know.
Yeah, like starting tonight, right?
Yeah.
Starting tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yep. So
How are you feeling now since this morning with everything that's about to unfold in the next few days versus how you were yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
I am feeling great, with the exception I would love to be able to hear out of my right ear. Because like even this morning, I was talking to this woman named Kim at the gym, and I was like, sorry, could you talk into my good ear? Like, because I can't hear, like it sounds like I have an ear pod in. And actually I kept like going like this because like when I had one ear pod in, like it feels like it's there, but it's just like the like white noise from an ear pod from like the noise canceling side. Like that's what it sounds like. So I'm like, hopefully anyone who's important to me just sits on my left.
I feel that. I'm not going to tell you it's going to last for a long time because it might not. But for me, it literally wouldn't go away. And it went away for a little bit and now it's back. So
yeah, no, I'm going to continue taking the antibiotic. I might go and do another IV. That was another religious experience in on itself.
yeah, where did you go for the IV? Was it like Hydrate Medical or was it different?
Yeah, it was similar to Hydrate Medical. It was in Anaheim. It's called Hydration Room, and it's over by where I was born. So I basically yesterday got popped into a little in utero past life regression of my mom, which I don't know if I explained to you guys. I don't think I did.
A little bit
Marco
on
Polo.
Marco Polo.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was looking at hydration areas. I knew I wanted to go back to like Corona just because that's where I was born and I've never been back. And as I was driving there, I'm kind of getting these waves of like soul stuff of like when my soul left body and like how I came into this world broken, if you will, not broken, but like disconnected from soul. And I've gotten the messages to like when my soul and it was incarnated in my body. It was 3 months in utero, and then by 6 months it was already gone. So I kind of was getting these visions of my mom and like what was happening in her relationship and with her dynamic, and that was what basically passed on to separate me. But middle of the IV, it kind of got amplified, and it was a lot around the throat. And it literally felt like there was someone's hand like pressing upon my throat on either side, for almost like the entire IV. So much that she had to like, and I've gotten probably 40 or 50 IVs. Like that's not like hydration therapy is not new to me by any stretch. I always get the same thing. I'm very specific. I always get glutathione. I always get hydroxycobalamin. I basically go there and tell them what to put in my blend. Like I have a little bit of OCD around that because of like some of the stuff that I've done, but like I've taken everything. There was nothing in there that I haven't taken before that I should have any reaction to. And it was literally just almost the entire time, just this throat feeling of like, and bringing in that kind of like in utero past life regression piece and really sorting out, which is probably why mom came up today during the stretch and then the meditation, of just having like this level of empathy really for what she has gone through and then what got passed on to me. So definitely happened as it should and as it should unfold. But just it was a really interesting IV.
Yeah. Dang.
So
And then after, did it go away? Or like how long did it take for it to stop?
it went away when I was leaving and driving to LA versus and getting out of the Corona Riverside area. So I was like, okay, I might have to go back there. I'm here for 2 more days after the event.
Yeah.
I might go pay another little visit to that area. So it's definitely, yeah, it's interesting. And then what's also really interesting is just the tie to coronavirus. We started all of this amid coronavirus and actually a lot because of what was going on social media for Aligned. And the fact that that's where I was born and the fact that that's where I was and the fact that I felt that much energy, I was like, okay, got it. I know I have more work to do here. I'll be back. I can't do it right now.
Gotta switch to the next gear.
Exactly.
Gotta put my other hat on.
Yep. Exactly.
Dang. Jade.
Yeah. What's been going on with me? So Eric and I went to Illinois. Who goes to Illinois for vacation? I mean, I don't know, but
how far of a drive was it for you? I meant to ask
that's
you.
why, because it was only 4 hours away.
Okay.
And we needed to stay fairly close to home for dog and child. And so we went to this really cool cabin that was on an 80-acre property. These people own their own lake, and they have a lot of money. And when you stay in the Airbnb, you have access to their whole property. And it's like hills and it's a beautiful trail. And on the way, I think I have seen this before. There is a Cass Avenue near Chicago.
There was a Cass Avenue where we were in Grand Rapids.
No way.
I've never seen a Cass Avenue. I'm a little sad.
Was it? It may have been in Columbus. We literally, Anthony and I both went, Cass.
Really? Well, Eric and I were like, Cass. And then we get into Illinois, like 4 hours away, and we now entering Cass County. And I'm like, what?
You literally go to Cass County to take a vacation?
Yes.
Jade,
And-
I love
and
you.
there was-
That's dumb.
There was no, it was our cabin wasn't in Cass County,
Oh,
but we
thank God.
passed through Cass County. And then there was just like every time I would look anywhere, there were just 4s and 8s and 4s and 8s. And we get there and we see bald eagles the whole weekend and hawks and butterflies. Why are there butterflies in March? It's like 30, it was like snowing, not very like. Eric's like, there's a butterfly. And I'm like, well, how is there a butterfly? So he's taking pictures of it. I'm like, this is crazy. And the whole time we were there, I was just thinking, I've just been thinking about aligned and myself in just a completely different way, to your point, Cass, like a do kind of like, what am I supposed to do? Because as we know, my role in this is not the same as your role, your 2 roles. There's not a lot I can practically do when it comes to the technology side or even being involved with a lot of those conversations. And yet I know I'm supposed to be here. So what am I supposed to be doing? And I realized I have been taking more of a waiting, which is also okay. I need to wait, but now I'm being called to do some specific things, which we'll talk about later, because I'm like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So
You have to give podcast listeners one thing. Come on. I'm like,
well, okay.
And by
the one thing,
podcast listener, she means her, because she can't wait for shit.
one thing that I kept pulling for weeks for myself was the Hierophant card, tarot card. And I haven't really understood what that meant.
you don't pull that often either.
No, for
It's never
myself, though,
good.
I was pulling it a lot. And, I even like got out my book because I know what it means. And so I got out my book and I'm like, I keep reading about this bridge between, action and spirituality. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean for me? And Eric was sitting with me on one of the occasions because we were pulling for ourselves, but kind of connecting and talking about it. I'm like, I can't believe I pulled that card again. And he's like, I start reading the thing and he goes, that's you. That's what you are. That's what you do when you read for people. And so a lot of my action points are around taking on that role, but in a different way than I have before. So
Could be a bridge too.
Bridge.
Wow.
So anyway, and
for the full version,
but all point, coming back to aligned, right? And like, and recognizing, I think maybe you guys I'm sure you guys have too, like recognizing that this road that we're on is just gonna be a long road, and it's not always easy to know what to expect. And then you were saying a whole bunch of stuff, Cass, about like, bootstrapping it, doing it ourselves, and still reaching out for VC and angel investor money. And so I'm just thinking about like, what does that mean for me personally? And how do I act and do to bring that all to pass? So anyway, that was my weekend.
One of the messages that I got this weekend was around money, and it was, you'll use old, antiquated something. I don't remember the exact words. I have it screenshotted, but you will use like old ways of making money in order to fund something new. And I was like, what's older than fucking astrology and shamanism? Like, just asking. Like,
Yeah.
just curious, because I'm pretty sure there's nothing older than those 2 things.
Right?
Well, there is the oldest profession.
Kaylin can take the prostitution. Kaylin just volunteered for the 3rd oldest profession.
Never.
You've talked about selling pictures and thumb pictures.
If I really had to, I'd sell thumb pics. I got something special. I'm in the club.
That's amazing.
Interesting though. That's an
Yeah.
interesting message, Cass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It goes parallel with a lot of what you were just saying, Jade, too.
Mm-hmm.
All mine starts spider webbing out.
Mhm.
You said he
Mhm.
saw a butterfly when it was snowing, basically.
I know.
Yeah, that was one of the most peaceful properties I've ever been on. It used to be a park, so the trail around the lake was already made, but they just had to keep moving. They just have to keep moving the dead trees off. So it's this really like access through this forest that you get. And I just was like, this is amazing. So we just spent so much time outside. And yeah, it was really
Mhm.
amazing.
We might have to
Wow.
eventually take a vacation to Illinois with the three of us.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds like
seriously.
paradise. I would
Words
love
I
that.
never thought I'd say.
I know. I never thought I'd find a little slice of heaven in Illinois. I don't know. It was really crazy and beautiful. But anyway, yeah. How about you, Kaylin? You have been on an epic journey.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say besides
Mm,
it's just kind of been exhausting a little bit. And I Energizer Bunny, and so the fact that those words are like coming out of my mouth is weird because
yeah.
that's not something that I say normally. And I'm
No,
just
it's
like, all
not.
right, just keep going. All right, it's fine. I'll get a little rest here and then I still feel good. So yeah, but was good. Also had a ton of reminders of the two of you. So there's that. Like at the butterfly gardens, they had all of this like outdoor children's play area, and it was built in these trees, and it had like different kinds of trees and like information about each of the trees. And then underneath the tree area, I was following Hayden around, and there were these like spider webs, and it had all of this information about spiders underneath, and these like big spiders that like made these webs in them. And then amongst all the trees, there was like this robin's egg nest, and it had all this information about birds. And like, I don't know, it was really cool, but it's just so funny to be like, oh, hey guys.
You're like, we're all here.
Oh, look, gang's all here.
Trees, spiders, and butterflies.
Was the spider real?
No, I wish.
Okay. Because I was like, she's beautiful, but I feel like she's not real. Otherwise, a butterfly would land in her web and, well, it'd be a snack.
Correct. Yeah. And what's interesting, so the butterfly gardens aren't always there because butterflies only live for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks is their lifetime once they hatch. And so the place, I think I sent you guys a video that I took of like the whole, like what it looked like on the inside. It may have been too long.
No, not the video.
I'll send it to you guys.
But a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
But it's basically like a tropical, like it feels like Florida inside. It's like 80 degrees. And it starts in February, and their last round of chrysalis hatch, I think the beginning of March. And so it goes through, or maybe it's the end of March. So it goes through like the end of April. And so when we were there though, we're getting like peak time, like so many butterflies, and they are like bird size butterflies. And they are everywhere. I mean, like they're like all up in you. Like one landed on Kennedy's hand, and like Anthony had one that literally landed on his backpack. He was wearing the diaper bag, landed on it, and then walked with us around the entire area. We walked through all this little cave and like these little like walkways, walked through the whole thing, did not get off of the backpack.
Was that the blue one?
Yeah, it's actually, so when it's closed, it looks almost like a moth.
I
And
have
that's
a
its
story about
defense.
the blue one.
It's like a defense mechanism. And so it was closed and trying to blend in basically with the backpack the entire time. And then when it was time for us to go, everyone left except for Anthony, because we're like trying to get this butterfly to like get off. And before you go in, it's like you can't touch them, like all the rules, right? And so we're like trying to get it to like go, and it won't get off. And so I like put my hand up, and it like kind of like I try to like put my hand underneath it, and it just like sticks, like it won't leave. And so Anthony like sticks his finger under it, and it like crawls onto Anthony's finger, and then it like sits on Anthony's finger. And it's like, and then once it gets on Anthony's finger, it starts opening its wings, and it's these big black wings with these two big bright blue spots on it. And so like opens its wings and then it closes them back up. And then it opens its wings and shows, and then it closes it back up. And it's just hanging out on Anthony's finger. So then I try to get it to like get off of his finger so we can go. And it like it's like, no, I'm not, like, this is where I'm going to be. Like, I'm not getting off of you. So then we like try and coax it a little bit, and it flies and lands right on Anthony's string on his sweatshirt. And again, it like opens its wings and then closes it, and it opens its wings and then closes it, and it will not get off. And then it like starts crawling up, and it ends literally like right here at his neck, and like opens its wings like a brooch and just like hangs out there. And so we go to the exit because we're like, okay, this thing is like not getting off. And so the first woman who's like manning the exit to make sure that there's no, you know, butterflies on people or people aren't stealing them. She's like, I have no idea how to get that off of you. Like, it won't let go. So then she has to like go and get another woman who like teaches us this trick where you like put your fingers like a V under it, and then you go like this, and it like forces it to like let go. But it was like curling out its tongue and like bringing it back in. Like, that thing was down to stay. It was, I'll go home with you.
Can I say 3 words?
Say all the words.
I'll say 3 phrases that are coming up. Anthony's dad, throat chakra, clearing. That's the first thing I said when you sent me that photo to Tom. I said, that's related to dad.
Interesting. So first we thought Harpo.
Nope.
We're like, oh, Harpo's hanging out. And then when you told my mom about it, we talked to her yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And she was like, I wonder if it's Grandma Lois, because Anthony's grandmother died in 2020, end of 2020. That's interesting. And Anthony thought maybe his dad too.
Anthony's right.
And Cass, you're so right. Bright blue on crawling up on his throat. That's what you use for clearing your and balancing your throat chakra.
I didn't know the full story when you sent that picture, but I literally showed Tom the butterfly. I was like, that's doing throat chakra work on him. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And now knowing the whole story, I'm like, fucking high five to myself. Fuck you, Tom. I can't wait to say, haha, told you so. I don't know why, but instantly when you sent that picture, I got that like just dropped through. So
I love that.
Now knowing the story, I'm very happy.
He got some butterfly medicine. So
correct. That's
really
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but it was pure magic. So, and we're just lucky that we happened to be there while all the butterflies were there. So
awesome. Of course you were there.
Of course you were. I was just about to say.
And I did not plan this, did not know. It was literally spur of the moment that we decided to go there that day, but I was wearing my rainbow sweater and I was like, perfect. Rainbows, all my butterflies. Like, can you even?
I'm going to look up cockroach convention in LA. I'll let you guys know what I find.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. It's LA.
Yeah. Maybe you could go to that museum that you went to and find yourself another cockroach.
Oh, the Boston Science Museum.
It was in Boston. Dang it.
Yeah, we're taking the kids there next month. So
maybe you can come home with a pet.
Fred 2.0. Tom would fucking kill me.
And a pencil, because fuck you, Mom.
Did we ever tell that story on the podcast?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I feel like we did.
Long story short, was told not to buy a pencil when I was age like 12-ish, when I went to a science museum, came home with a Madagascar hissing cockroach named Fred.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time.
It's been a minute. So if you've not heard that story, yes. So that is why I said she should also get a pencil.
So I can get it. I used to get pencils everywhere I went. I loved pencils. Still do. Actually, hysterical. I didn't bring a single pen with me to this event.
Only pencils?
No pencils either.
Nothing. Why didn't you bring any pens?
I don't know.
Have pens. We'll travel. I always have a pen.
Yeah, pens. Imperative.
I know. I also
forgot. We're particular about pens. It can't just be any pen. It has to be the right pen.
Right pen.
Apparently, I'll be going to Target again today.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or I wonder if they're going to have the right pins.
No, Target does. They have Sharpie gel pens.
I don't like those.
You don't like these? These are
No, it's got to be the
fine.
erasable.
I have that whole pack from you guys. I love those too.
Yeah, we
No,
sure
this is
saved
my
you.
Sharpie.
I used the Sharpie erasable pens before I moved to the Le Pen and then the erasable
I
ones.
do love a good lip pen. Also high on my list.
Those are too thin for me.
It's okay.
no,
I
they're
have
so
going
good.
to a metaphysical store after, and I'll probably find a stationery store conveniently located next to it. So
There you go.
I go where I'm told when I travel. There's a reason I forgot a pen.
True.
So says the girl who normally travels with at least 5 in multiple colors.
Absolutely. That's interesting. I can't wait to hear about the next adventure.
Me too.
I know.
So,
You're going to have a lot to share next time.
I know I already got the download that we're probably going to do another podcast on Friday for next week and like do a one in the middle of it.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Because there's about to be so much stuff. Oh, fun fact. I got an email from someone who's interested in doing a session with me, but his first line of his email is that he listens to all of our podcasts, even though he's not a girlfriend.
Well, that's the whole point.
It is the whole point. But I just thought it was really, really funny that like he called it out. So to all of our male listeners, you don't have to be a girlfriend.
Absolutely not. We do this for you so you can know what our conversations are.
So I just thought it was really interesting because I'm wondering how many more people are out there that are similar.
Yeah, I have a girl who comes to my house every week and I'm teaching her astrology, and she found our podcast. I still have that thing where when I find out that people are listening, I'm like, oh my God, don't listen to that.
Oh, I don't. That's
You're gonna find out way too much about me. Like that's not so yeah, she's been listening. And so shout out to her, little cutie. But she is constantly texting me now, asking me about like things that you say or Kaylin says, or like she's like, this was last year though, is that still relevant? Like, where can I find this?
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. So how did he find you or the podcast?
I don't know.
You don't know.
He binge listens to a bunch of his episodes, he said, and he's ready to do a session. He's old. It's funny. I am calling in every older white man.
Oh my goodness.
So he's another one.
Bless you.
Like 1959, 60, somewhere around my parents' age. Older British guy. So
interesting.
Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. We crossed the pond. Another note to the UK. I was like, got it. Yeah. That's interesting because we've been getting some UK stuff internally as well with like some of their laws they're passing for AI. And I had a vision that we went to Manchester, the 3 of us, which was very, very
Down.
vivid. What's
down?
I love the UK. I also haven't been to Manchester since I was pregnant with Diana. That was the last time I was there.
Oh, for Yoga Journal?
For Yoga Journal. Yep.
Dang. Wow.
Yep. So that was the last time I taught like first on stage for yoga, was in the UK because I go out with a bang. And that's actually too where I did a big advertising push, fun fact, for Tola, because I was solely focused on like heart conscious wellness owner businessy things. So it's like interesting that like I feel like we're starting to like be brought back to that space.
Full circle.
So no problem. It's easier to get to UK apparently from where I live than to get to California. So I'm down.
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me at all, actually. Yeah, because you're so far north and east. So
just a quick hop over the pond.
Jump over the pond, why don't you? Yes.
Yeah, but we'll more to unfold on that. I'm just assuming coming soon. So.
Yes.
More to come.
100%.
And also, I got my hair cut yesterday and I said, you're not giving me bangs, are you? And he said, oh, no, I'm not. And look, wouldn't you say?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a bang.
That's a bang, girl.
That's a full-on bang. I am not trying to do this life.
Wait, didn't you go to him last time and he did a great job?
He did do a good job, actually, even on this
It's
one.
a side bang. It's a side bang.
It is
Side bang.
side. It's
It's
just a
still a
little
bang.
short. It'll grow.
But you could pull it across and make it a bang yang.
I know.
If you wanted
bang,
to.
bang. Yeah. But anyway, I just caught sight of that. I'm like, well, there's a bang.
That's funny.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Looks
No, I
very
did. He did do a good job.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marty. Hair by Marty.
All I can say
I
is
love it when I see it on the
$40 haircut.
calendar.
cash.
Marty Cash.
He's cash only. He's in his 50s and he's a bassist for rock bands his whole life. Done so much blow, he doesn't even know like what side's up. Yeah. He's really cool. He listens to like hard rock the whole time he's doing my hair and says philosophical things. I'm like, Marty, you are a strange and interesting human being. But
What is he doing in Kenosha?
I know. He's
I
from
don't know.
Chicago. He was in Chicago for a long time.
That's the vision that I have of my next husband. Sorry, Tom.
Is that Marty?
Too much cocaine, hard
Done
rock.
so much blow, he doesn't know up from down. Sure.
Really,
That's
Cass?
That's not what I see for your next spouse. And also it's the wrong gender too, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, one of Marty's favorite lines to say is like, I did blow once for 17 years.
Oh,
He likes to say that.
poor septum.
Yeah.
His poor nasal cavity. Oh. I
Yeah.
just finished reading Stevie Nicks' autobiography, and apparently she used to inject it into other places because her nose was no longer a habitable place for it.
Yes, I read all about that journey too. That entire band. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was quite eye-opening, if you will. I needed to read a book that was not for personal development, even though I was still getting a fuck ton of personal development. There's a whole chapter on shamanism. I'm like, who the fuck picks up a Stevie Nicks book that's an autobiography and literally has a chapter about shamanism? What the fuck?
That
But-
tracks with Stevie Nicks. I can.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
What's the name of that book? I would love to read that one because I read this other, like this article that went in depth about the whole band, but I'd love to
It
read.
was Gold Dust Woman.
Oh, okay.
It was amazing, but it was I needed to avoid a personal development book for the time.
Do you want a good book? Actually, for Anthony's sister suggested this to us, and we listened to it most of the way home, and it is such a good book. It is like sort of funny, like a biography, but like a trauma-ridden childhood that she like talks about in a funny way. It's called "I'm Glad My Mom Died."
Oh, I heard about that
Oh my
book.
god, it's so good. Fucked up, but so good.
Interesting. I'm glad my mom died.
We're
put
like
it
30 chapters in. It's got like 91 chapters.
I heard about that one. That is so weird. I also read a book while in the cabin, very not for personal development, called The Other Misses. That one was really good.
Ooh.
I also brought Eating with Your Anorexic Child, which is a memoir by
Personal
a mom.
development.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So books have been all over in my world too.
I moved back to the personal development to listening to ayahuasca, a
Sure.
book by a PhD doctor who's a psychotherapist. And she talks about how ayahuasca is good for depression and addiction and PTSD and anxiety from like a very clinical level. So we moved back to personal development, but
Yeah.
I have to I just downloaded that. I'm glad my mom died.
Yeah.
It's
I've
so
been
good.
hearing
I know.
I've been hearing about that everywhere.
Interesting. Is it
My
new?
mom died. Yeah.
It's newer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's newer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How I missed that.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. You'll thank me later. Where like there is some super effed up stuff that she talks about, but literally it's the way that she like retells the story, because obviously she's reading her own book. You laugh. Like we were straight up laughing at some of the stuff.
I love when people read their own books as much as when I have a book, I want Jade to read it in her Jade voice. I do love when people read their own books.
Because
Mhm.
it's especially when you're telling a story, you know
Mhm.
that story better than anyone else, and you can tell it better than anyone else. So
Yeah.
I will say, if you guys listen to Gold Dust Woman, she does do an awful British accent. That's the only thing that pissed me off about the book.
Oh,
Is when
dang.
What
she
do you
talks about
mean?
like Mick Fleetwood,
For
she'll
the
like
audiobook.
yeah, in the audio,
Oh,
she'll say something that like one of Mick Fleetwood said or whatever, and she'll like change her accent to like try to match his British accent, and it's just
oh no, don't do that, love.
but other than that, the book is great. Like it's just I'm
But
like,
you guys listen. I read. I won't be listening to any of them. I'll
no,
be buying them.
I listen. Today I listened while I was walking around the track.
How we can multitask, Jade.
I know.
That's how I can work and read books. Read
That's how I
books.
work out and read books.
Yeah.
Quote, read books.
Exactly. Or drive and read books. Because Lord
And
knows
I can
can't
get
have a
through them
fucking-
faster because I can listen to it at 1.5. This one we listened to at 1.1. That's she's kind of a fast talker. And so she
You listen to it at 1.5 usually.
yeah,
That's
sometimes
hilarious.
too, if they're really slow talker, like I can't have your breathy pauses. Just read me the damn book.
Yep. Gold Dust Woman was on 1.45 because it was
There you
just
go.
it was short of 1.5.
Oh my gosh, you
And then
guys.
ayahuasca's 1.6.
Yeah, I can get through books so much faster that way too.
Come on, Jade, keep up.
Wow. This is why all my shit's on the opposite side.
But meanwhile, Kaylin, and going back to the earlier message,
Going full
back,
circle moment.
relax, receive, get into your feminine. Jade's like, do stuff. So, okay, Kaylin, you and I are going to pick up a book, like
And
an actual
read
book,
it.
and
and
Jade,
sit
you're going to do
down.
Audible on 2.0.
Yeah.
Done. We figured this out.
I'll give you my Audible password, Jade. You don't even have to, you can just go through the books that I have in there. It's fine.
Ooh, that's actually a really good idea. Yeah.
You just have to promise us and solemnly swear right here that you won't listen until 1.0.
Yeah, please.
I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that.
1 speed is just not it, boo-boo. It's just not it.
Does anyone listen to our podcast on 1x or like 1.5x speed?
Yeah,
Oh,
let
I'd
us
love
know.
to know.
I'd be curious because I
Me
talk
too.
really fast and I can't imagine it on 1.5.
That might be hard.
So I was having this death the other day.
Have to be careful.
Yeah.
Cool. I think this is a good place to end.
I think so.
Stay tuned.
We'll see you
There's
guys
so
soon.
much. Yeah.
Bye.